Of all the things I've seen on the battlefields of the frontier, the pilot is the true dominant force. Fast and agile. Graceful, yet devastating. Perceptive, resourceful, and relentless. But what truly separates the pilot from all the grunts and machines of the battlefield is the bond between a pilot and a Titan.
On October 28th, 2016, one of the most underrated first-person shooters was released. Titanfall 2 set out to become as much of a successor as it could be to the original Titanfall. In doing so, it not only succeeded in being a well-made sequel, but it also set a standard in the genre as well as even setting the groundwork for future installments. However, despite being held high for how good of a game Titanfall 2 was, it was overshadowed and never truly got the spotlight it deserved. Today, we're revisiting the game to see what made it so special, and if even more than 8 years later, if it still holds up to today's standards. Immediately, we already see a large contrast from Titanfall 2 to its predecessor. The original Titanfall did not have a single player campaign. Respawn decided to change that with its sequel, and I'll be proud to say, thank God they did this, because honestly, it was badass. The story focused on Jack Cooper, a militia rifleman who unexpectedly is forced into the position of becoming a Titan pilot. As the Titan and Cooper team up to take down the powerful IMC forces, we get to see a beautiful exploration of the complex relationship between man and robot. Respawn did an amazing job with character development, as the player could easily get invested in Cooper's adventure with his new Titan companion. Gameplay wise, the entire playthrough is fun and action packed. You get a great mix of playing as Cooper outside of piloting his Titan, as well as controlling the Titan itself. As Cooper, you have buttery smooth advanced movement mechanics with fun guns and gadgets. As a Titan, you get the overpowered strength of a gigantic robot with different types of classes to play with, which each carry their own unique strengths and playstyles. In addition to all this, I can't help but become so invested in the universe of Titanfall. I mean, this is like a perfect example right here. This specific mission entails you having like the special kind of watch that makes you time travel between two different time periods. So in this mission, you're able to time travel back and forward, and depending on like the obstacles in front of you and the enemies in front of you, you can use that to your advantage, but it can also bite you in the ass. So it's just such an interesting fucking like gimmick, and in a good way, and it's just so cool and unique because no other game has something like this. The overall atmosphere and multiple settings on various planets and biomes keeps the flexible action extremely interesting. Overall, Titanfall 2's campaign still stands out today as an action-packed, heartfelt story that perfectly explores the emotional connections between humanity and machines. Now let's dive into what really makes Titanfall 2 so special in a saturated environment of FPS multiplayers. Titanfall 2's multiplayer tackles the main principles of what makes an online shooter addicting. It's fun, unique, has good amount of content, and is extremely replayable. Obviously, there are two huge components that made the multiplayer so unique, which was the movement and Titans themselves. You had the choice of either piloting your Titan or going all out as a foot soldier with advanced movement capabilities. As a foot soldier, you had various abilities, equipment, and a great arsenal of weapons with a good amount of variety. Weapon handling in general was really smooth, and being able to thrust into the air, grapple around the tops of buildings, and even being able to wall run made the gameplay fast-paced with action-packed gunfights. For those who choose to pilot the large, devastating Titans, there was also much fun to be had. Like previously mentioned, there are different types of Titans to choose, each with unique abilities and weaponry suited for the playstyle of your choice. In-game, you can flawlessly switch between piloting a Titan or going off into the trenches as a soldier. I think Respawn also did a great job balancing the multiplayer, as even a standalone pilot had the possible capabilities to take out a Titan. Content-wise, the game provided a lot of customization, like camels for your guns and even camels for your titans. There was also a decent pool of maps to play on. The leveling system was also well done, as it made the player really work for new weapons, titans, and abilities without restricting too much or being too long of a grind. Even today, this multiplayer has a small yet dedicated player base. Meaning if you really wanted to, you could hop in right now and play multiplayer just like you could back in 2016. There was also technically a third mode called Frontier Defense, where 4 players team up to defeat waves of enemies that vary as time progresses. It's basically a similar mode to Survival from the original Modern Warfare 2 and 3 if you ever played that. The only difference really is that you're defending a specific target. It's not talked about much, however, it's a great addition to the multiplayer and gives a great opportunity for those looking for something different. As great of a game as it was and still is, Titanfall 2 unfortunately was swept under the rug. Titanfall 2 just happened to release in between 2 juggernauts of a game, which were Battlefield 1 and Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. Because of this, sale numbers didn't exactly hit the goal EA was looking for. Soon after release, and even to this day, Titanfall 2 has been able to stay alive, all due to its dedicated player base. Despite the unfortunate sales performance, Titanfall 2 was still able to carry out a legacy, as it set the groundwork for a new battle royale known as Apex Legends. With the sad news of Titanfall 3 development being cancelled, at least we can still enjoy this game for the masterpiece that it is.